Hey guys, welcome to Hashtag Behind Relationship Goals. I'm Bones.
I'm Fofo, and Soba is looking for her ball. Hey guys, kamusta na kayo lahat? For today's episode, we have something really fun. We are going to talk about our craziest and worst and everything related to our party experiences of yesterdecade.
Nakakatawa kasi when you say craziest and, you know, most interesting experiences, I don't know if I've really had a crazy
You've had,
experience.
I have stories. If you don't have stories that you want to tell, I will tell them for everyone. How dare you?
But I don't know.
How dare you?
Okay, fine. Maybe I do have one or two stories to tell.
Just to let you know, you guys firsthand just saw Bonizi shortchanging you on the stories that she wants to share. I can think of a million stories that would fit this podcast regarding Bonizi, and here you have her saying, ay parang wala akong stories.
Parang feeling ko hindi kasi ako party people talaga.
How dare you?
Oh, sige na nga, simulan mo na, Fofo. Ano ba yung pinaka-craziest story that you remember?
Doon na ba tayo magsisimula sa tuk-tuk agad?
Hindi, sige.
Let's take it back. Let's take it
Kalma
back.
muna.
Let's take everyone on a journey through our party life. So, Bonizi, I know we did talk about this briefly in other episodes, but when did you start partying?
I think the first ever party that I went to was in high school. Parang mga 4th year siguro. Parang with my friends. But I do remember that there was a get-together with my high school friends and I. And then somebody had pomelo and something that wasn't water. We kind of just like took a sip of it because we weren't sure, okay, tama ba tong ginagawa natin? Maybe if I took like a gulp, I would get like fuzzy in the head.
Okay, so how was that?
We were scared. Like, obviously we were scared. We were in high school and we didn't know what we were doing, but it was pretty interesting. I don't recommend you guys do this when you're like that young though.
Okay, but Bonizi, you are telling us your story about your first experience with fuzzy water.
Fuzzy water!
But we're talking about a party. When was your first experience in a party?
Sasabihin ko sa'yo, Fofo, hindi ko maalala. Kasi in the province, wala naman ganyan mga house party.
Oh, so after the province, when you moved to Metro Manila, what is your first memory?
I think it was really a get-together that my friends and I put. So we didn't have like house parties where you would invite like random people from like different schools. It was really just me and my barkada. And we were a barkada of around 15 to 20 for our high school chicas. So what we would do for every end of the year, we would have a year-end party and we would celebrate the incoming new year. We would celebrate the year that we just had, and things would get a little bit crazy here and there when it came to our year-end parties. And Fofo was actually a witness to this.
Wait, so when did your year-end party start? Do you remember
Which
the
year?
High school pa lang ba nagsimula na yon, or nung pumunta ka ng Metro Manila?
We definitely started our year-end parties in 2011, I think, or in 2012.
So kasama pa ako sa first year-end party ever?
Honestly, I think you were part of the first year-end party, Fofo.
What?
Yes, and we weren't even together at this point. So I didn't really get to experience these like house parties when I was in high school or in college because I was already working at this time. So for me, it was more about, okay, school bahay, work tayo. And yun, I just experienced it when I was, you know, older na.
No, Bonizi. You keep watering down your experiences. You were not older na. You experienced parties just around the same age everybody else experienced parties.
Ay, oo nga!
I don't know. You know what? Bonizi...
Nakalimutan ko!
Bonizi keeps gaslighting herself and telling herself na sobrang nene niya when she was younger. But in actuality, she wasn't.
No, you know why? Because
Mahilig pumarty si Bones!
I kept thinking house party. Nakalimutan ko yung going out into bars.
Yeah, dude!
Which I would do also in high school pala. My bad.
So, mas malala nga si Bones eh.
Hindi naman malala.
Nagbabar siya during high school. When most of us, house party lang.
Kasi yun lang
Oh
yung
my God. You see, this is what I have to deal with whenever I talk to Bonizi. We talk about something And before we even start the conversation, she starts saying na, ay, wala, hindi kasi ako ganito, hindi kasi ako ganito. And then as we start telling our stories, I'm like, what is she talking about?
Baka naman kasi nakalimutan ko, Fofo.
Hindi. You have gaslit yourself.
Ha ha ha.
All your life. Telling yourself these things. And here we are in the podcast, enlightening Bonez that going to bars when you are a high school student, that's like next level stuff.
4th year high school, pwede na?
Still? See? You see?
Sige na nga, mahilig ako lumabas nung high school ako. Mahilig kami pumunta. Tugs. Yan. Favorite.
Yeah, I mean, my going to the bar life started pretty much in college. I probably went to a bar in 4th year high school, but I wasn't like going regularly. Oh my gosh. Like, baka napadpad lang ako doon kasi my older brother was there or my tito had maybe a birthday party.
Okay, fine. Let's go back to Bonez's partying days. I had one friend that was connected to one of the promoters in the bars, and we would always go every week. And it was so fun because we got to really enjoy the music, probably some fuzzy water as well, but it was something that we always did with our friends. So it was really something that we would go to every week. Sorry if I left that part out. I did not mean to leave that part out.
And that was pretty much the answer to the question and you left it out. But anyway, we move on. We have forgiven you, haven't we, viewers and listeners?
Please.
But anyway, I think it's my turn. My
Okay.
first night out.
Okay.
So my first night out, I don't completely remember, but I'm pretty sure it was yung tipong house party, pero konti lang yung mga tao.
So parang people that you really knew talaga.
Yung mga, siguro mga classmates ko, at lahat kami, nerds. And
Nerdox.
there was just one classmate who knew all the girls. So, in the house party, it was all of us who didn't know the girls in one corner. And then our one classmate talking to all the girls kasi siya naman talaga yung may connect doon.
So would you guys, like, somebody would be like in the sala area, one group, and then the other group would be like in the dining table talking.
Something like that.
And then you're just like, I want to talk to her, but I don't really have the guts to talk to this person.
Yeah, and then I think my partying experience grew from there. So eventually, there would be open parties.
Okay.
Where one of the students or girls or guys or one barkada would rent out a function room in a village or
Okay.
somewhere na may connect yung parents para mura lang. And then they would set up a DJ, some speakers, some drinks, and some food. And then they would just tell people, yung cool guys in the different schools na, uy, may party dito. And then hopefully masagap namin yung balita kasi yun nga, nerdox kami. So
Hindi ba kayo ini-invite?
Hindi masyado eh. Hindi kasi, syempre, I mean, the people who are in the know, they weren't necessarily nerds.
Okay.
So we
gotcha.
weren't the first invitees.
So mga parang 4th or 5th invitees kayo?
Probably. Or baka nakita lang, narinig lang namin. So eventually, that became my party experience. So open parties during the weekends. Sometimes it would happen on a Friday night. More often than not, it would happen on a Saturday night. And I guess that grew over time. When I got to college, then I started going out to bars kasi that's where the parties would be. And then some of your friends, nagraraket nga, parang promoter.
And there would also be events for college, di ba? In the
Exactly.
bars. So, parang you would get discounts on drinks, parang buy one, take one, or you would have like an entrance fee for a certain program of an org. So, that's actually when a lot of us and our friends started to go out talaga.
Okay, so now let's move on to some juicy questions, okay? With this juicier cuento, I would like to start out by asking Bonez, was there ever a time that you were unable to function because you had too much of that fuzzy water?
Yes! Many times!
So what was your first experience of blacking out?
Ooh, so I was with a small group of friends and we were at our friend's condo. So, pinaalam namin to dun sa parents niya and sa parents ko kasi we were still pretty young but we did have adult supervision. So, sabi ng dad ko, sige, ihahatid kita dun tapos at this time, susunduin kita. And he did pick me up around 10 p.m. Kaso, by that time, kailangan nila akong buhatin, Fofo. And it wasn't only my dad that had to carry me, But my friends also. Tapos pagdating namin dun sa condo na pinagsistayan namin, tinawag niya yung nanay ko, yung tito ko na bumibisita sa amin noon. Lahat sila binuhat nila ako paakyat. Sobrang nakakaya. As in, para akong lechon na baboy na binubuhat nila. Kasi I could not function. And the one mistake that I made when I went out with my friends that night was hindi ako kumain ng dinner. And we just kept playing all these like party games. And then, syempre, ako yung talo kasi natatalo ako sa game. So, ako yung shot ng shot. Edi, ako yung nag-blackout.
So what happened the very next day?
The very next day, I was grounded for like months.
Wait, okay, so why were you grounded? What were the grounds for grounding?
So, my dad always wants us at that time to be responsible. So they will let us, you know, go out and enjoy with our friends, but we have to make sure na responsible kami. Ayaw naman niya yung uuwi ako tapos para akong lechon na binubuhat, 'di ba, na parang ready to to grill, 'di ba? So that was his main point with my mom na hindi ako naging responsable, na kailangan pa nila akong buhatin. And because of that, I was grounded for maybe 2 to 3 months and I could not make some trips with my friends. I was supposed to go on a batch bora with some of my friends that year. Pero hindi ako pinayagan dahil doon.
What year was this? Before you met me?
This is before I met you. So I had friends from like these different schools and they invited me. So wala, hindi ako nakapunta noon.
My turn?
Yes, your turn. Was there ever a moment that you completely blacked out?
Yes. So, a handful of times, hindi naman parang sobrang dami. But the first 2 times, I clearly remember what happened. Obviously, I don't remember the moment it happened because yun nga, nag-blackout ako. But this happened in 4th year high school with my high school friends.
Yeah.
Yung nerdox kong friends.
Nerdox.
So this is what happened. The first one was in a place called Drew's.
Oh my God!
Naabutan mo to.
Naabutan ko pa to kasi yung mga friends ko taga Miriam, dun kami.
So, para sa lahat ng mga katiponeros dyan, I'm sure you can relate, especially yung mga close to my batch. So, the Drew's was a place that you go to. And
super mura.
It was like, I'm just guessing the price, but tipong 150 pesos and you had a jug of colored fuzzy water.
Wait, so this was the one sa taas, diba? You would have to go up.
You would have to go up like 4 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
And it was just insanely cheap. It was dark. I don't even know if there was aircon. And one of the cool nerds in my class, they said, "Uy, Drew's tayo." So all us other gaming nerds would say, "Uy, okay yun na."
Wait, was this sa taas ng yun? The computer shop?
Yes, it was on top of a computer shop, but not Blue Skies.
Skies.
It was another computer shop.
Blue Stacks kasi yung nasa isip ko yung emulator. Blue Skies, okay.
Okay, so anyway, syempre, I mean, high school friends, first time out, first time doing this crazy activity. Lahat kami palakasan.
After school to?
This was definitely, obviously after school. Okay. This was at night.
Mali ko ba? Baka mamaya.
And the thing is, I was driving already at this time, so I had a Vios. And of course, I didn't know my capacity. I didn't even know what the feeling was going to be like. So, we started going and just taking our shots and taking our drinks. So I have no idea how much we drank, but I know that we just kept ordering and ordering, just like any other first-timer would do. And then the next thing you know, I woke up in my house the next morning.
Huh?
That's the next
Where's the car? Did you drive?
That's the thing. It was so crazy. I was so scared. Because I was like, oh, what happened? I teleported. Like literally that was in my head. The first thought that I had was, how did I teleport?
Fofo!
Kasi nga, nag-blackout ako. So I was so scared. I woke up early in the morning because the sun wasn't up yet. Parang paakyat pa lang yung araw. So siguro mga 6 a.m. yun.
Oh my God, buti na lang walang nangyari sa'yo. Walang nangyari sa ibang tao.
Sobrang nakakatakot. But here's the thing. Eventually, it hit me that, okay, let me call my friends. And they told me the story. Hindi ako There was nothing to backtrack.
No, I mean with your friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was nothing in my head to backtrack.
Ano nangyari?
So apparently, I blacked out and then I started throwing up. And it was very clear to my friends already, but they didn't completely know how to deal with me. So they called the mom of one of my friends or the parents of one of my friends, and then they put me at the back of their high ace.
Ay, salamat.
And then they also realized that I had a car.
Yeah.
So one of the sober friends were the ones who got my keys. I think they told the mom, and then I think, if I remember correctly, they took my car to a friend's house yata.
Ay, salamat. I'm
Which
so
was
happy
amazing.
that
Yeah,
you didn't
so-
drive.
So let's talk about the craziness of this night.
Okay.
It was crazy because we didn't really know what was happening.
Yeah.
But we were very, very lucky that there were parents who were apparently overseeing us. Kasi marami kaming friends. Siguro I would say we were at least maybe 10 to 15 classmates
Yeah.
who were there. Happily enough and luckily enough, some of my classmates told my parents, or their parents, that we were going out and then we were doing this. So parang they were watching over us na
Yeah.
pala. Kasi ako, I didn't tell my mom that I was doing this. Because I didn't know naman eh.
Yeah. You
I
didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know that this could happen in this way.
Yeah.
So parang it just didn't really hit me. I just told my mom, oh yeah, we're going out. I'm pretty sure we played Dota and Counter-Strike before doing this, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I told my mom.
And I think it's also so important that when you're that young and you're going out, that you let an adult know where you are, where you're going, at kung sinong kasama mo. Because we're lucky enough that at this point, we were with people that, you know, we could trust.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't take advantage of us in any way, diba? Like, it could have gone like a completely different way for both of our situations. And thank goodness they had, you know, they were thinking on their toes. Like with you, buti somebody thought, oh my God, he has a car. What are we gonna do about it? Like, how are we gonna take him home safely?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it kind of became an entertaining story for the parents who were watching over. Kasi I think they kind of expected this to happen eh. Gets mo? So parang for me and Bonizi, when we have kids,
Yeah.
and then our kids are gonna say, hey, mom, dad, we're gonna go out. We're gonna go, you know, try out some drinks. Alam na namin.
Yeah.
So alam na namin kung ano yung pwedeng mangyari, kung paano namin sila sasaluhin. So I think that's the mindset of some of the parents that were there.
Yeah. And I also think it's so important, like, for my end naman, my parents knew, like, what exactly we were doing at this place that we were going to, diba? Alam nila kung sino yung kasama namin. Sinabi ko, ma, we're gonna, you know, hang out with my friends and we're gonna drink. Sino kasama? Ito yung lahat ng kasama. So, they were already, you know, on alert. Okay, this is where Megan is going. This is what she's gonna do tonight. We kind of expect what's gonna happen when she gets home.
Yeah. So, okay, I have another story.
Okay.
So, I said I had 2 blackout stories, right?
Okay.
So, shortly after that night, syempre, tuwang-tuwa kami, tawanan lang. Like, dais, anong nangyari sa'yo? So, good times. Good times, good memories, and good stories. Kasi walang nangyari
Yeah.
because of the parents. So, thank you so much in retrospect to all those parents who are watching over us. So, the second time this happened, the parents were once again very on their toes because what happened was we had a sleepover in a friend's house.
Okay.
So this friend's name was Luigi.
Okay.
Kilala yun ni Bones. And once again, probably around 8 to 12 kami, sleepover siya. And then this certain person with last name Daes, first name Mikael, had this crazy idea, which I heard from maybe a cousin, to try out a game called Power Hour.
Oh my gosh!
Where you have a small glass and you drink from that glass every minute for 1 hour. So that is 60 drinks from that small glass.
With a happy horse.
With a certain colored horse. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Blackout ka nun, no?
All of us, okay? Every single one of us completely blacked out.
Did you eat before this?
I don't remember, Bones. I don't think it mattered if we ate. I don't think it mattered if I was Irish.
Ang papayatot nyo pa nun, Fofo, kaya hindi talaga kakayanin ng katawan nyo nun.
Okay, I just felt so bad for the floor of my classmate's house.
What?
Because it became an ice
See.
skating rink.
Yeah.
Napakadulas ng floor because of certain projectiles. So yun lang. We're just gonna keep it at that. But, you know, the parents again of Luigi were super on their toes because, you know, we had it there in their house. So
Yeah.
we were very well taken care of. Medyo, I'm sure it came to a point na
Hassle.
sobrang hassle.
Oo.
Maybe the first 2 people na naging makulit, natatawa pa siguro sila. But when all 12 of us, or maybe all 10 of us, kind of like blacked out, that's when it got really funny and really a hassle siguro.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this this power hour because we actually tried it, but we had to like tap out at a certain point. Kasi alam natin na hindi natin kaya.
It's just not. Oh
Oh
God.
my gosh.
I'm glad I
Fofo.
experienced it once and just once in my life because I will never experience that again. Oh my gosh. Oh, and just a trivia for all the NBA fans out there, and especially because it's playoff season, the morning after was the Malice in the Palace. Some Bones, the Malice in the Palace was a game between the Indiana Pacers and Detroit Pistons. It was the worst fan altercation kasi nagsapakan yung players and yung fans.
What?
Like my physical altercation, people got arrested, people got suspended for a year.
Whoa.
It was crazy.
And this
so
was the day after.
That was what we woke up to, the Malice
my
in the
God.
Palace. So because of that moment, nawala agad yung hangover
Amats nyo.
yung amats namin and hangover namin because we were like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
So just sharing, those were my two stories about blacking out in the early days of Fofito.
Okay, so these were the early fuzzy days of Bones and Fofo. But now we move on to the time where we actually got together. And we did have a lot of fun and exciting moments where we would go out and party and hang out with friends.
And now we move on to some juicier stories nung mas veterano na kami sa pagpa-party.
Veterano!
So me and Bonizi, going out was our thing. It was our excuse, especially during the first year that we were making lande-lande.
Lande moves with Bones and Fofo.
So we would go out a lot. And do you remember, why don't we just like run down a list of names of places that we would go out? Definitely one was Izakaya. Republic, which was in Resorts World.
There was another one in Resorts World. Beside it. Beside Republic.
Opus?
Pero we wouldn't go there a lot kasi social.
And then there was another place.
Ponti.
We would go to Ponti, and there was another bar
Attica.
called Fiamma. And then there was Attica.
Kiss.
There was Kiss, which was beside Attica, and then we would also go to Distillery. So we had like what? That's almost 10 bars, Bonizi. That's crazy. So it just goes to show you that we went around the place. And even in the fort, there were places in the fort that we went to. I just don't remember.
Well, Distillery was one of them.
Yeah.
Definitely. But Fofo and I, kasi we met in a bar for work. So we had an event there and we met there. But it was also one of the places that we would always go to because when Fofo was modeling, parang you would get like model discounts on certain bars.
Yeah.
So I would always like see him out, and then my friends knew him from high school. So they were always like, Megan, talk to Mikael.
And very cost-effective po yan. Dahil merong models night kung saan free yung drinks para sa mga models. And then I think that was a Tuesday.
Okay.
And then I think Wednesdays were ladies' nights kung saan free lahat ng drinks for the ladies.
Yes!
So it was very cost-effective for us to go out kasi we didn't have to shell out too much.
Yeah, and especially since you weren't like super working at that time, at least you got to go out and have
very
fun.
limited ang pondo ni Fofo and Bones. Although si Bones was working, so she had more money than
I had
me.
pondo. But so when we would go out in the beginning, it was really just about us talking. Of course, we'd have like drinks while we were talking, pero nothing like romantic, or we'd just be like super close. Pero hindi pa kami nagkikiss at this point until we were out hanging out in the bar that we met at. And for some reason,
We can say. So the bar that we met at was Republic.
yeah, and we were with our friends, but for some reason, all of our friends biglang nawala, and then it was just the both of us by the bar, and
Talking to one another, sipping on our fuzzy water, and one thing led to another. As we were talking, we were just going closer and closer and closer together, and then that talking led to our first blank.
momol. Nag-momol kami. Sabihin mo na, talagang make out talaga tayo nun, Fofo. Hindi lang siya parang, mwah. It was really like, I want to kiss you and I will kiss you right now.
Okay. Well, I did not expect that that's how Bonizi was going to describe that moment, but okay. So we are sharing that with you guys. It was really amazing, to be honest with you. It was
an amazing kiss.
Yes, it was. It was the definition of fireworks in the background. So you know how in the cartoons, pag my first kiss yung mga cartoon characters, biglang may fireworks. Woo!
Yeah, I'm sure for us it felt like fireworks, but then if you were an onlooker, you'd be like, anong ginagawa nitong dalawang to?
What are these two youngins doing?
Yeah, like, get a room.
Get out of here. But for me, that was always memorable. And ever since that night, Bonez and I would always talk about it and look back on it because I guess we got lucky that we had a first kiss that was explosive,
Amazing.
to say the least. But then again, on the flip side, especially for the other couples out there, I'm sure you know that there are other first kisses that are complete bloopers. And that's also very, very memorable. Like you tried the first kiss and the other didn't know what to do.
So you're like,
what's happening? But it's always a good time. And either way your first kiss goes, it's always extremely memorable. It just so happens that that is how ours went.
so that first kiss was super memorable for me. And parang after that moment, I was like, when kaya is the next time that we're gonna kiss? Parang, is it something that I should expect when I see you? Like, do I give him a goodbye kiss? So I was thinking like all these different scenarios and different things in my head. Like, ano ba yung status namin ngayon? Kasi we kiss, but what does that mean?
That's true. Wow, I haven't had to think about this in so long. But it is true. That's a huge food for thought, especially for a young couple.
Yeah.
Na after the first kiss, how do you get into that second kiss?
And I was thinking, parang, should we talk about this kiss? Like, does that mean something? Because, I mean, after that first kiss, I don't want to kiss anyone else, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, and in fairness, things came to us quite naturally. I think it was a big plus that Bonez and I really just got along, talking to one another and hanging out with one another. So that was a big plus to our relationship, and that's how our relationship was able to grow a bit more organically, with not as many awkward moments as other relationships.
but I did think we discussed somewhat in between the first kiss and us being together as boyfriend and girlfriend. Now, we talked about, okay, do you want to see other people? Because I don't. And we had that conversation.
Oh, we had that.
We did.
More exclusive conversation.
Parang, I guess so, but we were more of, this is how I feel. Like, I really like seeing you and I like hanging out with you. So yes, we did have that conversation na parang exclusive, pero ewan ko, basta yun lang yung sinabi natin.
So now that we have that out of the way, here's another example of how Bonez and I would kind of interact when it comes to parties. So in the first December of meeting Bonez, they had this thing called the year-end party in Subic.
Yeah, and it was basically a get-together of me and my friends. Kasi sometimes for the whole year, hindi kami nagkikita-kita because some of us are abroad or working in Manila, some are in Subic. So we decided, okay, before the year ends, before we have to go back to Manila to work, we will have a get-together to celebrate the new year.
And with that, I saw an opportunity, and I will now tell the stories of the lengths that I would go to see Bonez. This was probably in between Christmas and New Year's of that year. Bonez was in Subic. I spent my holidays in Manila most of the time. So we were texting. She said she had a party. And I was like, darn it, I wish I was there. So I was like, how do I go there right now? I didn't have my own car. I didn't want to drive alone. And at the same time, I didn't have an excuse to give my mom to go out. I mean, what was I gonna tell my mom? It was like 10 p.m. And I was like, Mom, I'm just gonna go out to Subic right now. It's like, no, that's not going to happen, Mikael. So, this is what I did. I said, Ma, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go out and get some fast food lang. And then siguro mag-road trip kami. I'll bring Martin, my younger brother.
How old was Martin? 14?
Martin was young. Martin was 6 years younger than me.
So around
So probably around 14, 15.
14, 15. Because you were Emilio's age at this point.
I told my mom that I'm gonna get some fast food, and then to make it seem really innocent, I said, I'm gonna bring Martin. So I said, Martin, libre kita fast food, tara. So yeah, bro, okay lang yan. Okay, game, tara. So we buy the fast food. In fairness, I do get him fast food. And it's like, Martin, road trip tayo. Let's just drive down NLEX. Wala lang, diba? Para masaya lang. Kasi I like driving. And then sabi ni Martin, yeah, that sounds cool, man. Adventure, yeah. Siyempre, bunso mong kapatid eh. He's just gonna say yes to everything. Everything sounds cool to him at that point. So we go down NLEX, and while we're on NLEX, I was calling Bonez, and I was like, yeah, nag-road trip lang kami ngayon.
Nagro-road trip, pero...
It just so happens nag-road trip ako papuntang Subic. And then when we were close to the end of NLEX, I was like, hey, are you still in Subic? You said you were there, diba? I was like, yeah. You know what? I'm actually towards the end of NLEX. I'm closer to Subic than Manila. And then Bonez was like, oh yeah, why don't you come over here na? I was like, you sure? And then I was like,
oh, baby ka!
Sige na nga, I'll go. Ano, Martin? Diretso na natin to papuntang Subic para todo road trip. And he's like, yeah, bro, let's go. Let's go.
I can imagine him saying that.
So, the end of it all was we got to Subic at maybe around a bit past midnight.
And I was already fuzzy at this point.
I got down, said hi to Bonez, and we spent the rest of the night talking and hanging out. And I'm so sorry, Martin. I left Martin to fend for himself with Bonez's crazy friends at that time.
Because everybody had a fuzzy drink and they were talking to him about like so many random stuff. And Martin, being 14, 15 years old, was like, huh? Ano ba tong pinag-uusapan nila?
Later on that morning, we got some breakfast and then I drove Martin home. And in fairness, Martin will never ever forget that story.
Yeah, it's such a memorable moment for him in his high school life.
He was like, I remember yung kuya ko. He took me on a road trip, but he just wanted to see his girl. And I didn't know what was happening.
Fun moments. And I can honestly say that our year-end parties were some of the most memorable, some of the most wacky moments that I've had with my friends. We had this party in a pool. We had it, at a friend's house. But they were all in Subic and they're all so memorable kasi minsan lang talaga kami magkakasama. So that was our little get-together that we would always have.
So here on our outline, we're supposed to discuss one of our most memorable parties. But Bonez already hit it on the head. Those year-end parties. So that one that I went to when I drove up to you was year-end party number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think we ended up having a couple more year-end parties, maybe like 3 or 4 consecutively. And yes, those were equally amazing. But there was almost always a common denominator. I almost always had my siblings with me.
Oh yeah!
So there was one.
Oh my gosh!
There was one year-end party where I brought Mauro and Sandro naman, and they were older already, and they had partied already a little bit. So medyo they knew what was up and what was happening, and they also enjoyed immensely. That was the year of the pool party.
They enjoyed so much that one of them accidentally dropped a bowl of lugaw and ended up eating the lugaw from the table with their hands. I will never forget that moment.
And then fast forward a bit later on, I think there was a very, very long time that Bonez and I stopped going out. So we focused on our work.
No more fuzzy water for us.
No more blacking out for us as well. Until last year, the day of the wedding.
That was the day that we finally got our party mode back on, and sinulit namin kasi sabi nga namin sa inyo 9 PM pa lang, wala na ako maalala, guys.
And easily that wedding reception / wedding party is at the top of my list.
Yeah.
In terms of moments, simply because everybody important in our lives were there, and their mindset was to also have as much fun as possible. And I think yun yung pinaka-importante na everybody knew that, okay, no more work muna. Everybody freed up their weekend. Nobody had anything to do the next day. And we all had our fun to the fullest.
All right. So if you guys have any party chica for us, you can always email us at behindrelationshipgoals@gmail.com or put it in the comment section so that we can see and probably give a little insight or two about our party days.
Before we end this podcast, we have a bonus, semi-loaded but more of hungry question.
What is this?
The question is, Bonez, what were our favorite after-party food spots?
Oh my gosh. In Subic, it would be Gotogate. Gotogate is located outside of the base behind the mall there. And I don't know if it's still there, but it's definitely a place that me and my friends would go to all the time.
For me and Bonez, our go-to after-party place when we were in Metro Manila was easily Mr. Kebab.
Yes.
Especially because I lived literally 2 minutes away from Mr. Kebab. Sobrang sarap. Me and my brothers, my cousins, my friends, even before Bonizi, yung mga yung girlfriend ko, and yung mga kadate ko dati, we would always eat in Mr. Kebab kasi yun nga, I lived right beside it. And I've had endless amounts of after-party moments there. And even before basketball games, parang merienda lang, minsan breakfast dun sa Mr. Kebab because it was open 24 hours. And I'm sure a lot of people can attest to this. Mr. Kebab became a staple after-party go-to spot. Even for people in the south, yung galing
they would actually go there.
Tuwing napapadpad sila sa
QC,
north, they always say, I'm so excited to try out Mr. Kebab after the party. So it really became a spot. And then of course you have your usual fast food ones. But I think Mr. Kebab is really one of our kings talaga. Just an important spot in our going out history.
Alright, so I guess that's it for the podcast, Fofo. We are semi-done with those days, but at least we get to enjoy the memories that we had back then. And hopefully you guys can give us some insight about your party days as well. And also, please subscribe to the channel kasi malapit na tayo mag 100,000 subscribers!
Oh, and also one more thing, please do share with us your favorite after-party food spots because I'd also like to know ano yung ibang chibugan places ng mga tao.
Chebog. Anyways, this is #BehindRelationshipGoals. I'm Bones.
And I'm Fofo.
Bye!